Hello everyone. I have been thinking, especially as some of us are going into our second round of going into quarantine. It's interesting to think about how come the world did this. Like, I wonder why the world uh, decided to do this. And we're a part of the world. We're part of the intelligence of the earth. We can't separate ourselves away from the earth. The earth is a part of our own intelligence. And so it's interesting to think about, what the world is doing. I wonder how come the world is doing what the world is doing right now. And I think the world is our greatest teacher. I don't know that we really have much to teach the earth, but for some reason we're engaged here. But what we do know is we do know that the earth is always sharing with us and always showing us uh, what's true and what's needed. And so we're going back inside, and I think that is something that's really interesting. And I was thinking about rites of passage, and that, there are four major initiations in all of our lives, and in every life. And the four major initiations are birth, and then the second one is leaving home, and then the third one is committing to either our life's work or to a person or a place, which is called coming home. And then the fourth one is death, and then the cycle begins again for some. At least it does for my culture and my culture. So I think that it's interesting that we've had many ways that we're asked to really become who we are, and to think about, who am I? To engage in the world. When I think about the third rite of passage, the third rite of passage is something I know. Angeles Arian, my mentor and teacher for many years, who is Basque, in the Basque tradition, they would go on a walk. The rite of passage was a walk that lasted for a year, exactly a year. And people walked in silence and uh, and some people still do this, and were really looking to find and seeking who they are, as people, as men, as women, as adults, if you're non-binary. And I just think how powerful if we could each reflect and have the space to really recognize ourselves. And I think that's what the world is giving us right now. Like, the world is giving us an opportunity to recognize ourselves. Like, I think we've become like unrecognizable to ourselves. I think there's something about we can't even recognize ourselves. And so I would wonder about our ability to take courage, and to have tests of courage. It's interesting because we don't really have any tests of courage. Like, we don't even have to do anything we don't want to do. Many of us, some of us did when we were younger, but most of us don't really do stuff that we don't want to do. And if we can start thinking about what are my tests of courage, and what is it that I'm questing for. So there's this. This came out, I think, was it March or April, but it's the White Eagle Hopi prophecy. The White Eagle is the speaker for the Hopi prophecy, uh, and the Hopi have been talking about this time for a very long time. The Hopi people, and have asked that these wisdoms be shared widely, and that a lot of people get to know what they are, and that we can come together in a different way, and that there are things that we need to learn together, and things we can implement to make a difference. And one of those things is to grow. That one of the things that we can do is we can grow, and we can change. And change, we need we need some changes right now. Um, so, tests of courage, rites of passage, those are things that, excuse me, that people have been doing uh, since, well, for thousands and thousands of years. And it's something that we need. I believe that we need that, like as human beings, we need that. And he speaks to this in such a beautiful way, that it says, this moment humanity is going through, this moment humanity is going through can now be seen as a portal and as a hole. The decision to fall into the hole or to go through the portal is up to you. If you are, if you repent of the problem and consume the news 24 hours a day with little energy, nervous all the time with pessimism, I love that said, you will fall into the hole. But if you take this opportunity to look at yourself, rethink life and death, take care of yourself and others, you will cross the portal. Take care of your homes, take care of your body, connect with your spiritual house, he says. When you're taking care of yourselves, you're taking care of everything else. Isn't that such a powerful thing? Like recognition that if we're taking care of ourselves, we're taking care of everything else. Do not lose the spiritual dimension of this crisis. Have the eagle aspect that from above and see the whole, see more broadly. There's a social demand in this crisis, but there's also a spiritual demand. The two go hand in hand. Without the social dimension, we fall into fanaticism. But without the spiritual dimension, we fall into pessimism and lack of meaning. So, what is the meaning? What is the meaning of my life? What did I come here to do? I mean, this doesn't say that, but these are my questions related to this. Is, what is the meaning? And I think part of the meaning is that it is true that that we have kind of lost sight of who we are and where we're going. And it's important to start to look and to come to recognize ourselves in a new way, in a different way, so that we can really help ourselves and each other. And so it says that you are prepared to go through this crisis. Take your toolbox and use all the tools available to you. Learn about resistance of the indigenous and African peoples. We have always been and continue to be exterminated, but we still haven't stopped singing, dancing, lighting a fire, and having fun. Don't feel guilty about being happy during this difficult time. You do not help at all by being sad and without energy. You help if good things emanate from the universe now. It is through joy that one resists. Isn't that interesting? It is through joy that one resists. When the storm passes, each of you will be very important in the reconstruction of the world. Each of you will be very important. I'll read that again with new in it. Each of you will be very important in the reconstruction of this new world. You need to be well and strong. And for that, there's no other way than to maintain a beautiful, happy, and bright vibration. This has nothing to do with alienation. This is a resistance strategy. In shamanism, there's a rite of passage called the quest for vision. You spend a few days alone in the forest without water, without food, and without protection. And when you cross this portal, you get a new vision of the world because you've faced your fears and your difficulties. So, how is it that we face our fears and our difficulties? And it seems like we don't really know how to do that anymore. It's like we don't understand or recognize. We don't have that internal resilience or that internal strength or courage. And so I just would be curious about, well, what if we had internal strength and internal courage? Like, what would that look like if we were a little more resilient? What kind of rites of passage can we create in this new time? And so this is what is asked of you. This is the final paragraph. Allow yourself to take advantage of this time to perform your vision-seeking rituals. So what are your vision-seeking rituals would be my question. What world do you want to build for you? For now, this is what you can do. Serenity in the storm. Calm down. Calm down. Pray every day. Establish a routine to meet the sacred every day. Good things emanate. What you emanate now is the most important thing. And sing, dance, resist. Resist through art, joy, faith, and love. Resist. Be reborn. Resist. Be reborn. White Eagle spoke of this a few months back, and I wanted to reflect on this again because I feel as though this message to perform vision-seeking rituals and what world do we want to build together? What's the new world? What is it that we want to create? And he is saying we want to create serenity in the storm. We want to be able to calm ourselves and others. We want to be able to pray every day and establish a routine to meet the sacred. And so I would ask you, just to notice this next week, next week, this this next week. I would like for you to notice this next week, like, what is it? What is it that is sacred to you? Who is sacred to you? What is sacred to you? Are there sacred sites? Are there places that are sacred to you? Where is it that you hold a special reverence or a deep respect and honor? And so I was thinking about this quest for what we want and for how we want the world to be. And I would wonder, what have my quests been? Or where have I learned, in a quest? I love the word quest. It's such a powerful word. And a quest is really something that we go on to rediscover, and to recover the essence of who we are. And it's not all about change. It's about also what do we need to respect? What do we need to bring from the past that will support us in the present? And what do we need to change? I think about happiness, and I think about uh, this time of the year, this season of the year, and the season of the year is really these couple of months, these 2 or 3 months called the fall. This is a time of harvesting and a time of gratitude, and it's so interesting to me that it seems as though we're really focused on what the issues are at hand and not as focused on what we're grateful for. And so I would really challenge us during this time to extend our gratitude because we've been given so much, because this is the time of harvest. So, since this is the time of harvest, what we know is we extend our thanks and our gratitude to the world and to the earth for helping us and for giving us so much nourishment. All that we take in, all that we're nourished by, comes from the earth. And we want to extend our thanks and our gratitude to the animals, to the plants, to everything that has assisted us in becoming human and really having the life that we have. And especially, I mean, if we have shelter and if we have a warm place to sleep and if we have, all of the things that we need, we have a lot to be grateful for because the mystery spirit has provided for us, and we've been provided for, and we've been protected and assisted and helped. And so during this time, we really have the opportunity to recognize parts of ourselves that we didn't even know were there. And what I mean by that is, I mean that there are aspects of ourselves that are emerging, that need to emerge in order for us to create the kinds of positive changes that we want to see. So, how can we create happiness in our homes and in our lives and with our loved ones? And how can we serve future happiness by taking care of the earth, taking care of ourselves, taking care of ourselves, we take care of the earth, taking care of ourselves, we take care of each other. But what we want is we want to recognize that we have the opportunity for so much happiness and so much more happiness than we're actually experiencing. And so I'd like to close today with this poem by Naomi Shahid Nye, and it's called So Much Happiness. It is difficult to know what to do with so much happiness. With sadness, there's something to rub against, a wound to tend with lotion and cloth. When the world falls in around you, you have pieces to pick up, something to hold in your hands, like ticket stubs or change. But happiness floats. It doesn't need to hold you down. It doesn't need anything. Happiness lands on the roof of the next house singing, and it disappears when it wants to. You are happy either way. Even the fact that you once lived in a peaceful treehouse and now live over a quarry of noise and dust cannot make you unhappy. Everything has a life of its own. It too will wake up filled with possibilities of coffee cake and ripe peaches, and love even the floor which needs to be swept and the soiled linens and scratched records. Since there is no place large enough to contain so much happiness, you shrug, you raise your hands, and it flows out of you into everything you touch. You are not responsible. You take no credit, as the night sky takes no credit for the moon, but continues to hold it and share it, and in that way be known, but continues to hold it and share it, and in that way be known. By Naomi Shahib Nye, so much happiness. And so, how can happiness flow out of you and into the lives of others? How can you offer your happiness? How can we offer our happiness into the world in order to bring this vibration that White Eagle is talking about into the world in a really real way, in a real and authentic way? One of the things that I saw, I have a half sister, and one of the things that I saw is that she's doing this wonderful secret sister thing, and I just love that. I love that she's doing that secret sister thing because it is. Um, it is a way to give happiness, and it's just you have a little gift for someone, and it's a secret gift. I'm just learning about this, right? I think many of us are just learning about this, but I think it's so beautiful to offer a gift, and that you don't know where it came from, but you receive the happiness. And I think that that can happen with a smile. It can happen with a nod. It can happen with a gaze. It can happen with a poem, a phone call, a little drive-by visit, waving in this time, but especially if we can deliver our happiness into the life of someone else. No matter what, we have the opportunity to be there for each other and to care for one another. So who are we and what are we becoming? Those are the questions. Have a beautiful week, and thank you so much. I will see you next Wednesday, and I'm looking forward. I have a couple of guests that I'm looking forward to bringing to us. So Dr. Claudia Gutierrez, and then also Marie Edwards. I'm looking forward to having them both with us soon. So I look forward to the season of harvest. And may you harvest much gratitude. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.